Hi, I'm Rick Wasserman, and you're listening to Across the Bifrost.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Across the Bifrost. This is the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode, we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am your host, Ryan Doze. And today, everybody, I have no co-host with me, but I kind of get to check off a little bit of a podcast bucket list item. Sometimes when you devote so much time to a character and you read comics and you watch movies and you watch TV shows, there's certain people you want to talk to because you want to pick their brain about the character and how they added to the character. And today we get to do that. I get to talk to Rick Wasserman about his work on Thor. So, Rick, welcome to Across the Bifrost, man.
Hey, Ryan, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We are, I'm overjoyed. I was telling you a little bit about before we got started, your work on Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes as the voice of our guy Thor, and some of his cool supporting characters that we'll definitely mention a little bit later. That was one of my introductions to the character because that's predates the first movie. That predates seeing our guy in live action, and you put a voice to a character that I had only read in a book, and I'm not sure the voices that I made up in my head were as good as yours. So
please.
I'm excited to pick your brain about all that sort of stuff. But
for sure,
I just wanted to get rocking and rolling here with do you have any what are your first memories of superheroes, comics? Was that part of your growing up? Do you have any?
So now I get to date myself. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So what you should know is that my first sort of taste of superheroes was the Christopher Reeve Superman film. Richard Donner film, which I think that and the second Superman film that he made, which they made at the same time, were sort of they really set the mark for me. I mean, I loved everything about them. I thought they were extremely exciting to watch. I thought they were very funny. I thought they had real heart, and I thought it was the first time where I believed someone was flying. I bought it. I bought the kind of physics of the whole thing. I thought, it would look something like that. Loved it. And then I think the next thing I remember in terms of my own watching anything that had to do with superheroes was the Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby Hulk series.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now, so this is really my whole knowledge of Hulk. And in this Hulk, he doesn't say anything.
Right.
He roars occasionally, but that's it. He doesn't talk, which is interesting because many years later, I am cast to voice the Hulk in Planet Hulk.
Yes.
And he does talk. In fact, quite a bit. He's pretty chatty in this one.
Pretty chatty, yep.
And my only memory of Hulk was he doesn't talk at all. So that was kind of fun to sort of invent the whole thing. But comics, I didn't have comics. I mean, comics just weren't part of my life. They weren't in my house. I didn't even know about them until I was actually much older and I saw a young person reading a comic. And I thought, what is this, like the Sunday Funnies? Oh, no. It's like a magazine with one character. And I really had no idea about them. I mean, for me, they were just kind of things that I'd read about, that kids read comics, but I'd never seen a comic book store, had no experience about it at all. Yeah.
Wow. So later on in life, are you talking after you've broken into the entertainment world, or?
Oh, no. I mean, when I was a kid, my experience of superheroes really just was based on what I knew about the occasional feature film and the TV series. That's it.
You're saying you have these fond memories of the Christopher Reeve Superman. Was Superman your favorite growing up? Was Lou Ferrigno's Hulk your favorite growing up? Did you have a favorite?
I don't know if I had a favorite. I was an interesting kid. I didn't play a sport, couldn't play a sport. So I got involved in special effects makeup. That was my thing. And magic. I was that kid. I did magic and makeup
You don't have to say you were the cool kid. You don't have to.
I think there are a few people that would say that, but I liked those things. I just liked both of those things. So there wasn't a whole lot of makeup going on in the Superman film, but of course, in order to get Lou Ferrigno to look like the Hulk, they did use prosthetics and they had contact lenses. In fact, listen to this. This is crazy. Fantastic. When many years later, I moved to New York, and then I moved to California, and I lived between Calabasas and Malibu in this area, and I was cast in a play about Houdini. So this is already a kind of a bucket list thing. I get to play Houdini. I get to do some Houdini tricks at the Magic Castle, which is a very famous magic venue here in California. Houdini has blue eyes. I do not have blue eyes. So I endeavored to have blue eyes by going to get contacts. But I didn't go just anywhere. I went to the same guy who made the contacts for Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby there's no other place I was going to go.
Right.
Yeah. Because somehow now I'm part of that. Right. I tell myself.
The kid in you would have been so betrayed if you wouldn't, wouldn't have gone and got.
Yes, little inner Ricky was kind of high-fiving me the whole way to the contact place. Yeah,
I would imagine in just kind of like some of the cool stuff you've gotten to do. There's many times you're like, man, 10-year-old me would be digging this right now. Like, as much as adult me is really loving it, like, gosh, the kid version of me would just be absolutely floored.
I think so. I think the kid version of me would be sort of stunned that I found something interesting to do. You know, like I did magic and makeup. I thought, am I going to be a magician? I mean, I don't know. Am I going to be a makeup artist? I don't know. And now, you know, here I am playing superheroes, and that's really neat. Didn't expect that at all. I mean, it was never on my radar, which is interesting because when I was doing like Avengers, it was a great situation because we're all in the studio at the same time. When I played Hulk, I was alone, and they kind of cut and paste your dialogue in with other people, which worked for that because Hulk needed to feel isolated. It was a very sensitive, emotional Hulk for that. But this, with the Avengers, we're all in the room at the same time. So when I square off with Captain America or look over here, like they're in the room, and can we really talk with each other, which is wonderful. And a lot of those people, it was in their future. That is, this was no surprise that they were going to be here one day. Like they loved superheroes, they love comics, they love the canon, like they know it, they understand it. I didn't. So the fact that they were there was ticking many boxes for them. And the fact that I was there was just kind of like, huh, look at this. I mean, I never, look at here we are. This is interesting. Because I really started, I'm an actor, so I was doing plays, and I was doing regional plays and Shakespeare, and then I was doing, I moved to New York, and I was in The Lion King on Broadway for a number of years. And so I realized at that point I could probably do some character-y kind of voices, and I still wasn't doing any voiceover, and then I fell into voiceover in a very bizarre way, but I fell into it, and I realized that in the voiceover industry, sometimes there's this evolution where the industry tells you what area you're going to fall into. Like if you start booking a lot of commercials, then you sort of evolve into a commercial voice actor. It's not to say you can't also do other areas, but you know, this is where your bread and butter is. And my bread and butter turned out to be promos. I don't know why. That just, I mean, I never grew up thinking one day I'm going to say tonight, you know, like I didn't know, but that's what happened. And I started doing promos for HBO, and I was the voice of the Food Network and ABC Daytime and all these different things. And I was the voice of A&E for 4 years. And then I became the voice of AMC, and I had that job for almost 15 years. So it's every day, all day in a booth going like, tonight on The Walking Dead. Just kind of over and over, and every permutation of that you can imagine. Mad Men, Breaking Bad. You know, like
holy shit.
You just say it over and over, yeah.
You're saying that all those years I was watching, you know, Rick and the gang take out zombies that was you the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, now that sounds incredible. I'm sure you get this a lot. It's like, oh, that was you?
Yeah. I usually get this when my friends who know that I'm in a video game that they're playing, and with like great excitement, they'll go like, "Dude, I just played this," and I'll go, "Oh, neat." They'll say, "I killed you last night."
I killed
You
you.
know, like really excited about it too.
Oh my
Terrific.
gosh.
Thanks.
You mentioned something just a minute back that my wife would absolutely just be really disappointed if I didn't follow up on. You're on
Yeah.
Lion King on Broadway.
Yeah.
What was your favorite character?
Oh, yeah, sure. So
A huge Broadway fan, and like our
oh,
family,
really?
in love with Broadway. So
Oh, great.
I would love to know.
Yeah, in my tenure there, I played Timon, Pumbaa, Zazu, and Scar. And I think out of those, my favorite would probably be Scar, just because it's always fun to play the bad guy, and it's a really cool outfit. The costume's really cool. With all the other characters, they're puppets in some version of a puppet. Like Timon is a traditional Bon Raku puppet, which is like having a toddler stand on your feet, and you kind of move the puppet in front of you. And Pumbaa is just a giant pig costume where it's the entire body, and you operate the snout with your hands. And Zazu is, the bird.
Yeah.
He is a complete separate puppet. Like you could take that puppet and throw it away. I mean, you wouldn't want to. It's a $15,000 puppet, but
I would imagine he's very
but
expensive.
it's this puppet, and so you kind of dance around and you make the puppet dance around. But Scar is no puppet. The only kind of Disney magic on that is he's got a big Scar helmet on his head.
Yeah.
Right? Like up here. And there's some cabling that comes down the side of your neck into a little controller in your hand so that you can make the mask push off your face like this and swing around. So when you like confront Mufasa, you take a stance and then your head comes forward like that. It's really cool. And that's really fun. You get to do your Simba, Simba, Simba. All that fun Jeremy Irons stuff. That was fun.
Okay, I gotta just one more follow up with because I know like the listeners are like, hey, Thor guy, right? Voice of Thor.
Right.
But we also freaking love Lion King around here. So did you watch a lot of the original film? Like, because like Jeremy Irons' voice is iconic as that character. Like, so what did you know you wanted to do differently, and what did you know like had to kind of stay the same to still be
that's a good point, Ryan, because that audience comes there expecting something. Like if you go to see like Aladdin on Broadway and the guy who's playing Aladdin has like a thick Italian accent, you're gonna go, what? This is weird. And if the guy's blonde with long hair, like it would be, it's not that he couldn't do a good job, it would just not be per the expectation because they've seen the animated feature, right? And so, yes, there are definitely parameters. There's only so much you can do. I remember I was in rehearsal once for Timon, and there's this part where just before Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yes.
Timon and Pumbaa are like, come on, Simba, let's get out of here. Because Nala shows up. Come on, Simba, let's get out of here. And he goes, no, guys, you go ahead. And Timon looks at the audience and he goes, you think you know a guy? Right, that's it. And I said it, and I was told that I can't quite say it that way. I needed to say,
Nathan Lane.
Yeah, well, they want something close to it, right? They want something goes, you could do some, but they want, you think you know a guy. They want that because people they're waiting for that punchline. So if you go see some famous musical and you want to do your own riff on this song, there's parameters. People come with expectations. You got to knock it out of the park and do a really great job, but you can't stray too far, You
really got to walk the line.
You got to walk the line, and good directors and stuff will help you with that. And if you have a pretty good sense, I'm not sitting there in my dressing room like tonight. Wait, I'm going to do my own thing. No. My star will only speak Yiddish tonight. That's what's good. No, I didn't do anything nuts. I just
tonight's when I go for my Tony.
That's right. Tonight, the Tony.
So we've mentioned a few different people and kind of just forms of creativity. Were there any like particular inspirations that you had like going in, like, oh, I watched this person do this and like it made me want to do this kind of thing? Or did you have a person or
Well, in terms of voice acting, at some point when I was growing up, and when your voice changes when you're a guy, your voice changes. My voice changed pretty early, and it was pretty dynamic. Like my voice didn't break. I didn't have that. It was just kind of one day it was here, and the next day it was here. That it just kind of happened, and people would say things to me. They would say, "Wow, you've got a deep voice," or "You sound like you're on radio," or something like that. So I knew that my voice had something that was ear catching. So it wasn't ever gonna. So I thought at some point in my life, voiceover could happen. I wasn't planning on it, but I thought maybe because I have a voice that's deep and people have remarked on it. But I had always been a fan of animation. I've always been a fan of cartoons. I'm a big Warner Brothers fan. My parents, we grew up and we watched all the kind of classic Warner Brothers cartoons and all the Disney features at the time. And so I was a real Mel Blanc fan.
Who isn't?
It was really special to me. I actually got to see him speak when I was a kid in person. He did a lecture, and my parents took me to a lecture. Listen, I didn't know what he was talking about. I was too young. I was like 5 or 6. But of course, at some point, he started doing the voices, and boy, that was very exciting. And then I later read his book, and he talked about being in a very, very serious accident, and he was not communicative. He was in a coma, and he came out of his coma because of his characters. People would ask not to speak to Mel, but to speak to Bugs, and he would answer in Bugs' voice. I mean, I thought, oh, I could do this. It's very inspiring. And I'm also, as an actor, I'm just big on storytelling. Like I like movies, and I like TV, and I like documentaries, and I like great singing and great dancing and it's all storytelling. It's all they're all related. And voiceover, once I realized it was really just voice acting, it's just storytelling, became a much more possible thing for me. I knew I was going to be an actor, and this is voice acting. Oh, they're related. I can approach them the same way, and that is exactly what I do. I approach them the same. It's not like I do my stage acting and then I do something completely different for voice acting. I don't. It's the same.
Well, so a quick follow-up there. Like, this is a fan favorite question. We love to ask creatives on this show. What is a work day like for you then? And I know for you, like, it's probably gonna change, a little bit, on the form of acting you're doing, but like what is a normal work day like for you?
Yeah, it was really different in New York when I was doing Lion King during the nights, and during the day I might film a TV show like a Law and Order or do a commercial. I was the Zest soap guy for a little while, and then I also do voiceover. So I'm doing The Wire only on HBO, right? So I would do that a little bit. Then I do a movie trailer, and then I'd get to do some narration. So in New York, I was just doing everything. It was a very kind of full creative time. This is before I was married and before I had children. And I was an actor who did a little voiceover on the side. And at some point, it just flip-flopped. And I was a voice actor doing a little bit of stage acting on the side. And during those AMC years, and that was also the Avenger years, I was almost exclusively in the booth. We moved to Malibu, and it was gorgeous, but I never saw it because I was in a booth. I was just always in the booth. I'm not complaining, believe me. I mean, because of voiceover, I could afford a life where I could be home with my kids all the time. Most of the guys I knew, my dad, they were away. At 6 o'clock in the morning, they left, and then they came home. You're away at 4:30 in the morning and come home hopefully in time for dinner. And I really feel fortunate that I could find a life where I could be with my kids. I didn't have to catch up with them on the weekend. So once in California, life changed. I'm just in the booth a lot. So sometimes I'd get the script the night before, but almost always I'd get the script that I'm going to record the day of, whether it's a promo, if it's narration, like I've done a lot of National Geographic narration, Discovery narration, Shark Week, that kind of thing. Do a lot of that. Narration, they give you a couple days, to work on, which is good. But for movie trailers, like my first big movie trailer was that Ray Charles movie, Ray.
Oh, great.
And that I just got to show up at the studio, and I got in the booth and I went, Ray, rated PG-13. Like that's it.
You're just like, you're done.
Well, yeah, until they said, you say a couple other things like a man, his music, da da da, right? And then at some point, Jamie Foxx gets nominated, so then you have to go back in, right? You said Golden Globe nominee, Jamie Foxx, and then he wins, so you got to go back in. Golden Globe winner, Jamie Foxx, and then he gets nominated for People's Choice, and you go back in, and you keep going back in every time he's nominated, every time someone wins something, and you could quickly. I bought my wife a car in cash from Jamie Foxx, continually, stepping up and getting nominated.
The more success Jamie Foxx has, the more success Rick has.
There's great ripple effect there. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. I feel better soon.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, busy days. Yeah. Most spending a lot of time in the booth, which is great, for a voiceover career. On the other hand, people are probably not meant to be in a box for too long. Like we can get a little punchy. So at some point, I told my wife, I need to spend a little bit of time outside this box because I'm going to start getting, very like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Like we let's be careful here. Let's be smart. So my voiceover engineer, and I created a voiceover booth, a traveling booth, which we had patented and trademarked, and we sell it. It's called the Tri Booth, so that I could go and do a show and keep doing voiceover without stopping, because you can't really stop doing voiceover. If you're the voice of a network, you can't say, listen, I'm going to take a couple months off. They'll just give your job away. So don't want to do that.
So, I mean, the one of the big reason why we're here is because I wanted to talk to you about, your work as Thor. How did that opportunity to voice Thor come about? Because you said, you weren't in like the superhero bubble yet.
It's true.
How did that come to be and get on your radar?
It's true. I was mostly doing promos and trailers and, commercials, that kind of thing. And because I had done Lion King, I thought for sure I should probably ask my agents. There was a whole department just to do animation, video game, that kind of thing, the whole department, but I hadn't been in there. And I said, listen, I feel fairly confident I could do something like that. I know those people, by the way, let me just give it up for them. People who do animation, video game, like that's all they do every day, all day.
Yeah.
They're ridiculously gifted people. I can't do what they do. They can do 400 voices. They're in every cartoon that ever existed. I'm not that guy. I admire those people. They have an instrument and some vocal pyrotechnics that I cannot do. But I thought I could probably do a few things pretty well, so maybe they would consider me. So I went in and they let me start reading on a couple of things. And one of the first things that I booked was Hulk.
Awesome.
Was Hulk for Marvel. Yeah. So it was a pretty big jump, like to start doing Hulk. And so I did Hulk, and now I'm somehow in the Marvel universe.
You're affiliated now.
Yeah. There was a couple of big red carpet events for this movie, and I did a Q&A with the president of Marvel and the director of the film. So I was I'm not like this big entity, but at least they know me. I'm on the radar.
Yeah.
So when they're thinking about doing Avengers, they ask if I'm interested in auditioning for Hulk. And I said, sure. Now, the guy who almost always plays Hulk is Fred Tatasciore, who I've worked with, I've directed. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy, and is Hulk. Let's face it. I mean, his Hulk is the iconic smash kind of roaring Hulk. Planet Hulk is a very sensitive Hulk because he's gone to a planet where he's not the biggest and strongest anymore.
Totally different story.
He's just not screaming. So Fred gets cast as Hulk, and I went, oh, well, that's fair enough. That there's a guy who should play Hulk. And they said, do you want to audition for Thor? I went, okay. This was during my Hulk audition, right? They're like, do you want to try Thor? I went, sure. Do you have anything in mind? And they said, think like Big Boy Scout. I went, okay. And interestingly, I mean, I'm talking very animatedly right now, but if I'm kind of chilled out, my voice is fairly close to Thor.
I was going to say that. I I was picking up on that.
Yeah. So if I just sort of relax and let my normal kind of speaking voice go and slow it down, and if I start thinking, listen, he's a hero. So I just think heroically. And I'm also, because I'm an actor, I like to feel like I'm embodying my character. So if they give me pictures, which of course is plenty for Thor,
right,
I try to feel the musculature and the size and the strength. Now, when we did the series, I think there was maybe just a couple people in that room who, if we're honest, could really play those characters. Like Brian Bloom could play Captain America. I mean, he looks like Captain America.
He's
right. Built like Captain America. The guy who was Black Panther could play Black Panther. I mean, it seemed I was not going to be playing Thor in the live action. So this was my moment to get my joy playing Thor, right? To feel the size, to be, this godlike character. So it started there. That was the opportunity, not playing Hulk and having the opportunity to read for Thor. And they went, yeah, we buy this.
So okay. So there's maybe a little bit of a naivete to this question, but I've been reading Thor comics for a long time, and Thor has existed since the early 60s. A large, almost 5 decades have gone by without people really knowing what this character's supposed to sound like, because I was telling you before we got started, I read a voice into the comics, because we all do that, like with books or with things that don't have an audio element to them, we read a voice into them. How did you craft this voice for a character that really there's not a lot of material to base his sound off of?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know this for Hulk. I like I said, the only Hulk I really knew, I had not seen any Hulk animation. I knew that it existed. I avoided it. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think if you want to go listen to all the Hulks and all the Thors because you're going to play that part, I'm not against that. You do whatever you do. But for me personally, I think I'm too easily swayed. Like it's too easy for me to listen to someone. And even if I say mentally to myself, I go, I know I don't have to sound like that. I'm just listening to it. Some part of my brain is still going, yeah, but you got to sound a little bit like that. Right? Maybe just a little bit you should. And I didn't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to be in competition for something. My job is to tell the richest, clearest story I can. So what I do, and what I recommend everyone do, is that I start with me, right? It starts with Rick. No one's going to play Thor the way I play Thor because they're not Rick. And the foundation of my Thor is me, right? And not just my voice, but who I am, my sense of humor and my opinions and my musicality in my voice and my pacing. Obviously, I can change those things, but it starts with me. I am not a blank slate who I can just kind of fill with Thor knowledge. I'm Rick first, and now I can mold some things. I consider how old the character is. I consider how big they are, how small they are, how strong they are, how healthy they are, what's their job. What's their sense of humor like? I consider all these things, by the way, like I would do for any character. If I'm going to play Richard III, I do the same thing. When I play Thor, it is the same thing, that same process, except no one's going to see me.
Okay, everyone, we're going to take a quick time out to remind you all that we have a Patreon. You can, for a few bucks a month, join the Thor Corps over on Patreon and join fantastic members of our next level of support. You can join folks like Will, Joshua, Eric B., Phil, Drew, Trip, Haley, Joseph, Jason, Eric T., Brandon, and our lone listener supreme, the Burt Zerker. So all of those folks, they support us at that next level by joining the Thor Corps and checking us out on Patreon. Over there, you get bonus episodes, early audio for upcoming episodes, and you find out stuff about the show way in advance. You are in the know on the stuff that's going on across the Bifrost. So if you are able to, we would just love you'd consider supporting us at that next level. Either way, we hope you enjoy the rest of this episode.
Whatever information they give me. Now, if they had said at Marvel for the Avengers, listen, I want you to go and study this, this, and this. I want you to read this about him, and I want you... They didn't. They gave me the script, and so that was the source material for me, which in some ways is better, right? Rather than my going and like reading the canon, you know, first of all, when you're doing one story, when you're doing one episode at a time, you can't carry all of that information into the booth, right? You can't make all of it play. And some people go crazy with their backstory. They know so much. Thor was allergic to corn. Well, it's not going to show up in this scene, is it? So maybe I don't need to know that today. You know what I mean? Like it's maybe too much information. So just the given circumstance. Tell me the given circumstance and what things do I need to know about this character? And they let me know. I thought it was a great moment when we did the stuff about his relationship with Jane Foster. You know, like he hasn't had this in his life. These kind of big epic things, and the only epic feeling he hasn't felt was love. And it was totally new, and he was totally naive about it. That's very exciting as an actor, right?
It's different.
It's different. And there's only so many times you can, you know, throw a hammer and, you know, and yell and scream. But here's some real texture. Here's some real circumstance to kind of dig into. I love that.
So okay, so I've watched through the show, the 2 collected seasons on Disney Plus, which people, if you haven't watched it, you should go and watch it. Like what I've noticed about Thor's voice, and obviously who better to ask, but like you had like this when he's having an intimate conversation, his voice is very soft and very almost like a Shakespeare like leading man kind of.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But then like in the fight scenes, like you freaking go for like I rewatched a few episodes today just to kind of get back in the mindset. I'm like, Thor is yelling half the time and he's kind of like calm and reserved the other time. There's no like in between, it felt like.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he might have 2 gears.
Yeah, he's like two sides. And like I've gotta ask, you mentioned this and I wanted to talk about this as well. You guys are all in there together.
Yeah,
I find that so cool because so many great characters that he plays off of. And one, like I've got to ask, because you voice several other characters. What do you do when Thor is having a conversation with another character who is also Rick? Like
it happened a couple times. Some people are really good at that. You know, they can just do whole scenes, just go back and forth and stuff like that, which I'm very impressed by that. To me, it's almost like a parlor trick. Like, I don't know how you're doing that. For me, it really helps me to focus on one thing, right? Because I'm thinking as an actor, I think of circumstance, my partner, my objective, like what I want them to do, right? What am I trying to get them to do? And what is my action to get them to do that? Maybe to threaten or to appeal or to calm or to, right? So that's what I want to focus on. It's too hard for me to switch back and forth from one character to the next. So it'd be easier for me to read one character and have someone just read the other character's lines that won't get recorded. And then for me to switch character and have a moment to kind of realign my storytelling thoughts. All right, what are the circumstances now? And who is my partner now? And what do I want from them? That's much easier for me. But yeah, there are some people that can go like, "Hey, Batman, what do you want?" You know, like they can do that back and forth thing.
That is amazing. So there's one person on this cast that I'm a fan of his work, and I know you've done many scenes with him because the characters interact a lot. Going back and forth with Clancy Brown as Odin, like, you both have such strong like personalities in these characters. I'm like, and I mean, he's great at a lot of different things. I feel like there isn't a Marvel character he hasn't voiced at some point. But like those, like going back and forth with him, was there anything special or significant about those interactions? Because you're playing father and son.
Yeah,
there's a lot of emotion in those interactions.
Well, the good thing to know about Clancy is before he's anything, he's an actor. Before he's done an animated character, he's an actor. He's been an actor. I've seen his movies. I remember watching him on as a kid. He was in a terrific movie where he was like a criminal in jail, some like juvenile jail, and I just remember seeing him, and then here we are all these years later working together. But he's an actor first, which puts me at great ease because I'm an actor. You know, listen, people can do voiceover coming from all different backgrounds. Some people trained to be a voice actor. I did not. You know, I trained to be a stage actor. And some people came up in stand-up comedy. Some people are radio people that come from radio, right? People come from all over and find themselves doing voiceover. So it was nice to know that I was in the room with not only someone who spoke my language, but I also really admired, which was terrific. And yeah, if you give us sort of the structure, the relationship structure of father-son, the room changed because it hasn't been like that before in that studio, right? That relationship of father-son has not taken place in that series yet. And then Clancy shows up and now we have that dynamic.
Yeah.
So he knows how to play that part. And suddenly, instead of being this dynamic superhero, I'm a son, you know, that has a great weight on his shoulders and a very rich history. So it was a joy.
In the and speaking of, you know, portraying many Marvel characters, you portrayed several other Thor adjacent characters in this series, like Surtur, the Absorbing Man. I literally just at dinner, I was explaining to my kids, who's dad talking to tonight? I was like, oh, well, the guy that voices Thor from this cartoon we love. He's like, oh my gosh, who else is he? We talked about the Absorbing Man for like 20 minutes. We were talking about the character. But like these characters, how did you, I guess, craft those voices as supporting characters?
Yeah.
What was the differences? You know, obviously we start with Rick first.
That's right.
But
a lot of these were done kind of a la minute, you know, like we're in the room and they'll say, okay, your character is like this. Sometimes we don't even have a visual, right? There's no animation yet. And so it's like, he's kind of like this and, you know, he's kind of thuggish and he's big and he's cruel and, you know, maybe a little New York. Oh yeah. Okay. That's great. Cause I'm from the East Coast. I'm like, all right, I can dig that. He's got texture in his voice. He might, and to make sure that especially if he has a scene with Thor, that they have to have a lot of differences vocally.
Yeah.
Right? So not just like tonally, but like I might resonate from a different area. So like, you know, like with an acoustic guitar, when you pluck a string, it's going to resonate, vibrate the air inside the hollow body of that guitar. But people can direct their vibrations to different parts of their instrument. So I can resonate up here, like behind my nose, or in my mouth, or in my throat, or in my chest. And each one not only gives you a different sound, but also gives you a different emotion. Like they feel different. Like this makes it's warm and maybe a little scary and a little romantic maybe. Whereas this sounds a little bookish, right? This sounds a little, right? So I pick a different place to resonate from. I might find a different pitch. I might find a different musicality. You know, some people will use the whole scale when they talk. And some people will stay between one or two notes like this, kind of flat, adding texture, no texture, adding a dialect or no, or less of a dialect, pacing, all of those things added up you can find a lot of distinction, between a lot of contrast between your characters. But yeah, most of those other characters happen sort of on the spot. Okay, it's like an improv class. Okay, he's like this and he feels like this and he has this quirk, and as an actor, you're meant to get a foothold on each of those. Okay, yeah. And you make these little micro adjustments to your voice and come up with something entirely new.
Wow, that's so like those side characters, you're like, Thor is kind of your in this project, your bread and butter.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need this.
That's
guy.
right. It's like that.
So cool. So I know this is, you know, a project that lasted a few years. There was a few, you know, like, are we coming back for a third season? Are we not? You know, and then of course it doesn't get to a third season.
Yeah.
When you got done with this project, I mean, still do like video games and stuff like that as this character, but like, did you have a moment from working on Avengers that was like, man, this is my favorite thing about being a part of this, portraying this character with this
Yeah,
project?
absolutely. I can tell you the thing that I like the most. I think it stems from being in the theater. Like I said, I never played a team sport, but theater is kind of a team sport.
Yeah.
And most of voiceover, most of it is very isolated, especially doing promos, tonight of The Walking Dead. There's no one else there. It's just me in a room by myself, and for 15 years, like there was no one to go there was no work peers that I could go hang out with. There's no,
Get drinks
what I mean?
afterwards, like.
Exactly. There is none of that. It can, I mean, you record in an isolation booth, and it's a very good name for it because it is a very isolating experience.
Yeah.
So the Avengers gave me that immersive collaborative experience where everyone was in the room, the director, the writer, everyone's there. And boy, I didn't realize I had missed it so much. But like I wound up going like, I run. So I would go running with the guy who played Black Panther. Like we talked, we stayed in touch. I still know a lot of these people, and
Awesome.
it's really lovely.
So I know that for you, this is us as fans, we look at this and like, oh my gosh, all this like nerdy information that no one ever cares about. You're doing a job. Like this is something that you devoted your life to. Did you have like a favorite episode of the show or a favorite part where you're like, man, I feel like I really hit my stride doing this story or doing this dialogue?
Yeah, I think I would have to probably go along with the Jane Foster arc. I just like that so much.
Yeah.
Again, because I'm not against all the heroic stuff. It's great. But like suddenly this just became, it's not a rom-com. It's not that. But it's a scene between a guy and a girl. And I don't know, there's something very I've been through that.
Yeah.
Like I know what that feels like. I can bring more Rick to that than I can fighting a frost giant. I've not done that. So yeah,
hey, your career could go in many ways.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
Who knows? Man, that's great. Well, and it's we talk about this a lot on the show. How this whole show is built around studying and appreciating a character that is supposed to be otherworldly, but has these moments of humanity.
Yes,
make him truly unique and thought-provoking.
That's right. They have to, because otherwise you could never relate.
No, and I think that sometimes like superheroes often can get those, like Superman is kind of a hard one. It's like, well, he's good at everything. Like, Thor is right. Kind of like that, where Thor, he's good at everything. Like no one's gonna beat him in a fight, but he doesn't understand how to love a girl. Like
that's well said. Yes, that's right.
Most of us have been there where we're like, we really like this person and we don't know how to vocalize that, or
that's
it's
right.
so foreign to us.
Yeah.
So I love that that's the thing.
Yeah.
So before we get to our Thunder round, which is something that our listeners forward to with our guests, is there anything that we started talking about that you feel like we didn't finish up well, or that people just need to know more about this part of your work before we jump into our get to know you stuff?
I don't think so. Like I said, I voiceover has become a big part of my life, but by the way, I still do magic. I still do a stage show when I have the opportunity. It gets harder and harder as my kids get older and stuff. I teach. By the way, that was another way I got out of the booth.
Awesome.
People were like, hey, how are you doing all this voiceover? And I would kind of let my actor friends know, and I'd start sending them notes. And these notes over time became lesson plans and curricula to teach.
So cool.
So I have a company called Bookable, and I coach and make demos, and I've been doing it for over a decade now. And I go to like voiceover conventions, not like Comic-Con, but like voice acting conventions, and do lectures and that kind of thing, which feels good because ultimately, let's face it, for the most part, I mean, listen, I'm not saying that the like Avengers is very fun to listen to and stuff, but promos and trailers and stuff, I don't know how much I'm serving humankind. I feel like I'm sort of more serving my wallet,
hey, that serves your mankind.
Yeah, it serves, it serves my family, which is good. I know that. But like, I also think we're here to be good bees for the hive, you know? And
Yeah.
I felt like I was not being a very good bee. So
Hmm.
teaching voiceover. I also teach at a university in in an MFA program, and for their second year of the screen acting program, they get me for voice and speech to teach voiceover.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so it feels that it's a part of me that's very important that I kind of mentor this and spread this out, the craft of voiceover before AI takes all of our work.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen for a long, long time.
Yeah, me too.
And I something you said right there where you're like promos, like they're great, they're great for what they do. But you said earlier on in our chat, like you resonate with story, and there's often like when I listen to a commercial or a promo for a show that's coming on after the thing I'm watching, I'm like, okay, cool, that's information.
Right, right.
And I'm glad I have the information.
That's
Information
right. And promo can feel like that. So it was always important to me while I was at AMC that, and they gave me the room to do this, which was great. I didn't have to go tonight on AMC. I didn't have to do like standard announcer stuff. I could do things like for Walking Dead. I was never just announcing what it was on. In my mind, I am a survivor of the zombie apocalypse, and I'm in an underground bunker, and new survivors have shown up, and I'm gathering them around, and I'm trying to warn them tonight on The Walking Dead, only on AMC. Right? So that's what I'm doing in my mind. I'm not getting in the booth and going tonight on the right, none of that. So I feel that I am immersing myself in storytelling. That could be actor nonsense, but I think it yields a different result.
Yeah,
You know?
I just love that everything starts with Rick and everything goes through the lens of story. And I mean that honestly now, when I watch these episodes of Avengers for the billionth time with my like there's a story behind that. There's a guy in there that is feeling this, and I love that so much. So we've come to the Thunder Round, which is
Okay.
something that a great creator, comic book writer, Jason Aaron helped name for us. So we keep it around for him because he's
Thunder Round. Yes.
And it's 5 questions. Rick, you can answer them any way you want.
Okay.
Put them any way you wish, and we can't wait to get to know you a little better.
Okay.
Number 1, if you were a superhero, what would your superpowers be?
I would look the way I look now, but I'd have unimaginable strength. So I wouldn't look strong, but I would be physically strong.
Deceptively strong.
Deceptively strong. That would be great fun.
What is your number 1 pet peeve?
Mouth sounds. When I record that, those little spit bubble pop mouth sounds that's what I get. I hate that.
You know what? I probably should have muted myself most.
Hey, could you drink a little water, please? No.
That is very similar to mine, which is like people that eat with their mouth open. That is. I want to like at dinner. I want to come across the table at you.
A little curtain. I can't see this.
The third one. What drink or snack is your go-to?
I'm vegan. And
Okay.
it kind of limits the things that you can, like, all right, like we don't even have honey because it's an animal product. But peanuts, I'm a sucker for because peanuts are not alive. So I don't have to worry. I don't have to feel guilty about them. I'm a big nut butter guy. That's it. I would have nut butter anything. You could put nut butter on a shoe and I would eat it. Nut butter.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I didn't see peanut butter coming, but I won't lie. Peanut butter's pretty hard to beat.
Right?
It's fantastic.
I think it's because when I was a kid, my mother would not allow it in the house. She had a thing about it. She thought it smelled. She can't stand it. And she once had a bad peanut, like a bad one. It was rotten, and it turned her off forever. So she wouldn't have it in the house. So I always thought peanuts and peanut butter was disgusting until I was in college. And I had to have some because I didn't have any money for anything else. And I was like, oh my good Lord. This is delicious. They lied to me. My whole life was a lie.
Call your mom and like, first of all, what?
Yeah, listen, Ma. Yeah, we had
number 4. So when you're not bringing characters to life on stage, on screen, in the booth, what do you do for fun?
It's a good question. I practice magic, but I don't practice any one particular trick. I just practice magic skills, like back palming a card or flipping a coin. If someone said do a trick, I couldn't. I could only do skills. I've got skills. I don't know if I could actually do a trick, but I do that, and I love to cook. That's what I do.
So, well, okay. Brief side question: what's your favorite dish to make? Like, say you're having a party. What's your favorite dish to like make for a group of people?
Yeah, it would likely be something Asian influenced and something extremely spicy. That happened to me too. I don't know why that happened, but I'm a spice guy. I like it as hot as you can get. I don't want to be in pain, but I'm not shy about it. So I think one of my favorite dishes now, and it has been for a while now, I've really held on to this, is tteokbokki. It's a Korean dish, rice cakes. They look like cheese sticks. You know those mozzarella cheese sticks?
Yeah.
They're shaped like that, but it's rice. It's like a giant piece of rice, and you put them in this very, very spicy gochujang sauce. And
love gochujang.
I could eat it forever. I mean, I could just eat that every night. It's all carbs. It's all bad for you, and it's all delicious.
And now it's all that I want to eat after.
It is.
Speaking of dinner, our last Thunder Round question: if you could have dinner with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Now all I keep thinking is, who would I like to have dinner with who's dead? Like, just have them falling apart on the Just
what
any number of dead
figure from history would you love?
Some dead guy. I'd love to have dinner with him. I think it's not fair because I've already mentioned, but it would probably either be Houdini or Mel Blanc, since they have been so pivotal in my life. Yeah. It would be cool if you gave me the permission to invite both of them.
Absolutely. Why not?
And the three of us, could you imagine that, like Harry, Mel, and Rick all having tteokbokki together? That is...
That's who you're making the dish, and you get to make it for them. I mean,
stop. That's it. That
is a perfect dinner there.
That goes up on the top of my bucket list if somehow I can work that out.
Yeah, I mean, if the technology gets us there.
Please.
So Rick, thanks for entertaining us with the Thunder Round. So how can fans keep up with your work? What have you got going on more recently? We just spent a lot of time talking about a show that has been off the air for almost over a decade. But like,
true.
What in 2023? What is Rick up to? How can we check out what you're doing?
I do have games coming out, and I do a big game. I think I can mention it. Oh God, I don't know if I can mention it.
It's perfectly fine if you can.
There's a big online game, and I've done voices for it for a long time, but I just did a whole lot more and have more coming up soon. So I probably shouldn't say what it is, but so I've done that, and then I have I just did I can't mention that either. Well, okay, I'm on a new Netflix series. It's not out yet, but I play a very, very bad guy on that. So that is coming out. When it comes out, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Live action Rick or voice?
No, it's animated.
Okay, fantastic.
It's animated.
I'm sure my kids will find it before I do.
Yeah, so that's good. And then I don't really write very much about what I'm doing because I got kids and I'm doing stuff, and but RickWasserman.com has all my pictures and demos and all that stuff and clips, and then bookablevo.com is all of my coaching and demo stuff if anybody's ever interested in just learning or just asking questions about it.
Yeah.
And then trybooth.com is my portable booth, which is obviously not just good for animation, video game, and cartoons and stuff like that, but for podcasting. So when you take this on the road,
hey, you know what? Why not? Why
not?
So we'll include links to all those things in the episode.
Oh, that's cool.
And listeners, go check out all fine Rick projects websites, the products. Like, go check it out. It's absolutely free to go look and check it out, and hopefully you find those things helpful and awesome. Rick, thank you so much for me getting to talk to one of my favorite characters, and just getting to know more about you, man. We really appreciate your time tonight.
Absolutely. I had a ball. Thanks so much. It was a really good time.
So everybody, for me, for Rick, you can go check us out on at Mighty Thor Podcast on Instagram, and you can join our Thor Core on Patreon if you want to check out more of this. We've got stuff featuring Loki and Hercules coming out. We're gonna try out like a monthly special show over there for those of you that want more of this. And we thank you for so much of our Thor Core that's supporting us. You guys are awesome. And we just remind you one thing, like we do at the end of every episode: wherever you're at in the 9 realms, whatever you're doing, we just ask you to do one thing. That is to stay worthy. Da 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 da.